Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Das Kämpf, written and drawn by Vaughn Bodē, even though he signs it Vaughn. Now, this is could be considered the very first underground comic. He published the original version of this in 1963. I think it was just mimeographed. Even like it might have not even been stapled, but it was the cartoons in this comic. It was actually published. I think they made Vaughn Bodē made 100 copies or something. This is at least 3 years before Lenny of Laredo, and God knows. Actually, maybe it's a little less earlier than God knows, but it definitely precedes those two other undergrounds, which are considered the first undergrounds. I think because those were actually printed for reals. I think Jack Jackson and Joel Beck, respectively, actually got them printed and, put them out for sale. But even though Vaughn Bodē did it at a much less ambitious level, he did print them and did try to sell them. I don't think they sold very well. Nobody knew who Vaughn Bodē was. But it's a digest size. I'm sorry, I should give you the history of this. So this edition came out in 1977. This, of course, was actually published, printed by a real printer, and they made, a substantial amount of copies, because by that point, Vaughn Bodē was pretty popular. And it's a digest-size little pamphlet-type magazine, but it's got cardstock covers, nice paper. It does seem like $250 is very expensive, but I guess Vaughn Bodē's name was so hot in the 70s that they could probably get away with it. The other remarkable thing about this is that 1963, this is before Vaughn Bodē was even in college. I think he just got out of the military. And so he was a pretty young man. And it's just remarkable what a great cartoonist he was. These were roughly created around the same time Vaughn Bodē created The Man, which is one of the very first comics we looked at on this channel about over 2 years ago. Maybe pushing 3 years. I lose track. But that wasn't printed till much later. Vaughn Bodē just had a few strips. He wasn't happy with them. They started appearing in the Syracuse College newspaper, which he attended. And then in 66, I believe, the university published a collection of them. And that's where The Man came to be. But this obviously precedes it by quite a few years. And so it's kind of a historic thing. I have no idea where I got this. I have a feeling it's very rare now, especially how popular Vaughn Bodē is, even more so after, all these decades. His fame has only increased. But let's crack this open. I've been gabbing a little too long. So all these are these little cartoons, which are kind of a parody of the Peanuts cartoon books. Happiness, happiness is a warm blanket or whatever. Also, there were those little cartoons that were like love is, there'd be these little cherubs like love is never having to say you're sorry. Love is giving someone the last cookie in the bag. They're very schmaltzy, like greeting card type cartoons. So this one, all the cartoons are war is. And this is right after Vaughn Bodē got out of the military. He actually, he ended up getting an honorable discharge, but he pretty much sounds like he went AWOL and just deserted. But somehow he had some mental issues that he could document, and the Army said, okay, whatever, we're not going to prosecute you. We'll just give you an honorable discharge, maybe a dishonorable discharge, whatever. He didn't have to face a trial or anything. So just to give you a flavor of these, it's just like war is making a parachute jump behind enemy lines and forgetting your gun. So the level of humor is almost as goofy as those Peanuts cartoons, but then they get a little more interesting, and some of them are quite gruesome, and just as war is. War is being ordered to do something real stupid and not being able to complain afterwards because you get killed, because you're dead. Now look at the level of cartooning here. This is just beautiful cartooning. I love this. His style is already completely developed. And just the crispness of the ink line, this is just really high level. And he's so young, it's amazing. So yeah, so they're definitely more, dramatic than the Peanuts, cutesy little happiness cartoons. Or is getting your right leg shot off and having your watch break too. So there are all these various mishaps that happen in the military. War is getting the hiccups when you're trying to sneak through enemy lines. Every one of these cartoons, I just, fucking eye candy. I love this stuff, this style. War is laughing and walking under a ladder and having the house fall on top of you. I gotta say, I love the man, and I love the style of it. I think this is way better. I really love the man. It's one of my favorite comics of all time. But this, the actual style of the art, just really good. Some of them are just kind of odd. War is sticking your tongue out and charging the enemy, guys. A lot of these are just kind of wah, wah, wah situations. War is getting the Iron Cross for bravery, but knowing all along you were deserting and ran away in the wrong direction. War is landing your plane in quicksand. War is remembering it's some kind of enemy holiday, but shooting them anyway. So a lot of these you just realize, if you've read Vaughn Bodē stuff like his lizard strips, a lot of those, Junk Waffle has a lot of those. Basically, it's these lizard characters in war. And they're just brutal and just show humanity just to be so stupid and, brutish and just dumb. I mean, humans keep doing this. We keep going to war. And then we say, that's terrible. We should stop doing that. And then we do it again. So he really satirizes that whole just sad nature of humanity. But then there's some that are interesting where, having said that, then some of them are kind of like this, almost like celebration of human nature, where even in war, even where you've been trained to kill someone you've never met, usually for no good reason, there's still ones like this. War is looking for strawberries when you're on a dangerous patrol. Where it's basically even in the midst of this horror, the horror of war, soldiers, this is the famous story of on Christmas Eve, the Germans and the French, or maybe it was the German and the British soldiers, just played a game of soccer. They left their trenches during World War I and just said, fuck the generals. These guys are just poor fucks like us. Let's just play a game of soccer. They exchanged booze and they got drunk together. Stories like that it's just actually the opposite of every other story here about war, where you're just like, God, humanity has no fucking hope. We should all just let ourselves be blown up. Fuck humanity. We're just a damaged species. But some of these cartoons kind of celebrate the fact that even in that shit, there is some joy, there's some humanity. War is getting ambushed and left for dead, because you are anyway. We see just all these slaughtered soldiers. Or is accidentally shooting your credit sergeant, and this guy has a sly smile on his face. Or is when you're cleaning your burp gun and the enemy attacks. So a lot of it is just that kind of like, oh, ain't that the truth? So, like, not many of these are really that funny. But this cartooning, everyone, fucking amazing. The consistency this young cartoonist showed, Vaughn Bodē, it's just crazy. Or is having fun torpedoing lighthouses. Or shooting an enemy guy, mainly because he's standing behind your company commander. Definitely a lot of hostility against the commanding officers. Or is having a bad dream, and when waking up, you find out you weren't sleeping. Your reality is a bad dream. It's cartooning in a weird way, almost like you can see all these like great classic cartoonists in it, and I couldn't help but thinking of V.T. Hamlin, the guy who drew Alley Oop. Just that amazing, crisp inking line and the stylized, characters. But I'm sure there's Vaughn Bodē was like, drawing sources from many. But I mean, he really was unique. Really nobody cartooned like him. Here's actually almost a callback to the thing from World War I. War is having a snowball fight with the enemy guys when all along you're supposed to be shooting each other. War is getting so scared you go wee wee. War is telling your company commander to go fly a kite, but they actually are flying a kite. So once again, in the midst of this carnage, these soldiers are just humans who want to have some fun every now and then. Oh man. War is being awful tired and wanting to go home, so you do. That's kind of what Vaughn Bodē did. War is chasing bunnies through the woods. Look at the look on that guy's face. It's great. War is having a happy tummy when you finally burp after a good lunch. Once again, even, it's mostly bad, but there is some pleasures and joys. Or is being an officer and calling everyone on the telephone because you're lonely. I like this one. War is when you're a sniper and you're going to shoot the guy, but you're going to let him finish his breakfast first. He's just waiting till the guy finishes his breakfast, basically letting him enjoy his last meal. Or is being a private and wearing your decorations just to show up those ratty generals. Oh, I would totally love to do that. Or is playing with wind-up toys during a bombardment. Or is laughing and laughing when you find out why you was fighting. The one flaw in this is that, I think a lot of these aren't totally knee slappers because he's trying to parody that Happiness is, those Happiness strips by Schultz. He's trying to do the same format. But I did want to just say one flaw here is, major flaw is, his grammar is not very good. Every now and then you have to read one twice and you're like, oh, he forgot to put a word in, or that's the wrong tense. War is selling your gun so you can buy comic books. I can get behind that. Just every little thing I love. Just the way these boards in this treehouse are askew. This amazing tree, bizarre bulbous tree. These clouds, everything. I love his style. Some of these I don't even understand. War is rolling a big ball of string for your kites. Here's another one where it's just like, there are moments of tranquility. War is chewing on dandelion stems. And this guy just looks like he's in heaven here. He's living the life of Riley. War is sometimes wondering whether there could ever be intelligent life on this planet. And we see this lonely soldier contemplating what the fuck he's doing. So now we have a nice little self-portrait of Vaughn Bodē. This is published by his wife. So it says copyright Barbara Bodē. So I guess Vaughn Bodē was already dead by the time this edition was printed. I guess they made 3,000 copies of this. And very interesting little weird artifact. So there you go, guys. Das Kämpf by Vaughn Bodē. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at this. God, I mean, his art is just so beautiful. I just love his cartooning so much, even though some of these jokes don't really hit that hard. But like I said, he was trying to parody that Schultz thing. But look at me making excuses for Vaughn Bodē, but he was often quite funny. And also, he was very young when he did this. I'm just amazed at the consistency and quality of the art at such a young age. This just seems like an accomplished master already. The art in here, it seems like the work of an accomplished master, and it's just crazy how good he was at such a young age. Okay, I'm starting to repeat myself. Sorry about that. But I haven't looked at this in like, I don't know, 20 years. And I was just amazed how good the cartooning was when I was reading it last night. I was just like, I forgot how beautiful this shit looks. So that's it, guys, for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed looking at it with me. And I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.